Hello, John.
Hello, Oliver.
And today we're going to talk about Black Lives Matter. If you want to go ahead there.
That's right. Yes, certainly. This is an item that happened in the USA, in Minneapolis, I think. This item happened. This thing happened where there was a black man, a criminal, and a person that was served a lot of time, and he was actually from Houston, but this was Minneapolis, and he was arrested by police, and he was a very strong, violent type of chap, and but unfortunately, it was filmed by somebody. And you see 4 policemen, and one is kneeling on this man's neck, and he kind of was able to speak about the thing, and about the fact that he couldn't read, and it was filmed, and the perception then that the man died. So the perception then was by this video being put into the media, it was put up to it was put worldwide, if you like, and suddenly riots erupted because of the treatment, and a crowd called themselves Black Lives Matter orchestrated a lot of violence attached to it, and riots, which is still going on in parts of the US, with devastating effects. For example, they've looted, burned down buildings. They have knocked down statues of what would be patriots in the cultures years ago, but now are perceived as something quite the reverse by these black rioters. So these rioters are not just black; there's whites joining them as well, and. And it hasn't kind of stopped at there's some peaceful marches, because black people often have a very strong religious business with their gospel kind of singing and all the rest of it, and quite what would they call it, holy and jolly in the way they celebrate the Christian faith. But they now seem to be silent. We don't hear too much about them, except these riots, which are still going on in parts. And the dreadful thing is that they have also defaced Catholic churches and Catholic statues and of saints and Blessed Mother, and that type of thing. So it's the business of the riots now, and it's going to be dealt with by the administration of the US under President Donald John Trump. Because you have the media in some ways supporting it, believe it or not, and making it sort of like exaggerating the whole thing and making it worse than what it is. And also then you have certain the Democratic Party in on the act. So it looks to be destabilizing society in that country, which is one of the great beacons of hope throughout the world because of its welcome for all peoples. And the freedom that they have there to practice their faith without interference from the state, which happens in other countries. So these riots have a very negative effect and could interfere with the democratic process in that country, which is a gift. And I think now the party in power recognises that and is going to take steps to try to protect federal buildings, which are being attacked as well, which is government property. So the fact that these people have done this, and forgetting about the fact that in the US, the number of people that sometimes are criminals generally that have been killed by police because they have resisted arrest. Actually, the majority since 2017, or going back as far as you like, has been whites, not blacks. And the figures are there. And as a matter of fact, they're just not that. Since these riots, a black man killed 2 policemen that were trying to arrest him, and they seem to be succeeding on a motorway. And before you could say he might have been under the influence of drugs or something, but he went around and got away, and then he produced a gun and shot the two of them. And so not much of a word about that. And other events like that. So policemen are killed there quite a bit, not least in that terrible business of 9/11 that happened when the World Trade Centers were not knocked down, were by fanatics or Muslim extremists for the most part, and thousands of people killed, including one there in a church here not too far in County Meath, where there's a window in the porch erected in memory of their son and Michael John and with the surname of O'Reilly, living in the US and working in the trade centre. So there's a memorial to him. So like there would have been Irish people massacred then. So you can see what evil does, and the tragedy with people that believe in nothing. The least thing, and suddenly it's out of our proportion to the event that occurred. The first thing is to say prayers for that man that was killed in that manner, the black man or white man, anybody that's killed it's to say prayers. That is the Christian way of doing it. But people that believe in nothing is what they do and what they've done in Western in countries here, including this, all marching to the US. And all the millions, there's over nearly 2 billion they've been killed since it was introduced around the world. And not a word about that in here, just one, and they're all marching because they believe in nothing. They're the same people that are concerned about the environment and climate change, when really it's pollution that is the cause, and the plastic mountain that supermarkets produce.
But I think, John, all over the world now, including Ireland, you have these rent-a-mobs. You know what I mean? You have these.
Well, that's what it sounds like. Rent-a-mobs. They seem to be organised more than what you might think, because there's a socialist, communist, communist element to it. It manifests itself wherever they're about.
If you go to any of or look at any of the street protests in Dublin city centre, right?
Yeah.
You'll see that there are people who attach themselves onto all different types of things, and you'll see the same crowd at shouting for different causes. Today it might be the welfare of animals. Tomorrow it might be Lyme disease. The next day it might be something else. But you'll always see the same crowd.
I think it's trying to destabilise society, and the thing is that this media is so anti-Christian and so anti-development of spiritual welfare of citizens, focuses on these things and never seem to analyse the same way as they dissect the Catholic faith or the Christian faith any chance they get. So, but they don't see the infiltration of all groups by this sort of agenda of trying to destroy the democratic process, because you see you have a communist approach to these things, masquerading as concern about this, that and the other, but really with an objective of trying to sort of manipulate society to sort of be supporting such nonsense as they articulate. And quite frankly, as I live here in a rural type of area, and I look out and I see cattle with calves and watching them, the sort of heifers, I think they're called in agricultural terms, and so on and so forth, and see the sort of tranquility that involves, and then to listen to the sort of old nonsense of the climate business, when really it's the pollution that counts, not the climate. The climate will take care of itself, and no matter what they do won't make a bloody bit of difference, and no matter what the media says either, supporting their ignoramus cause. So this is what we're worst having was in the world, and not dealing with the problems of pollution in the proper way that they need to. by way of the plastic mountain.
Thank you very much, John.
Thank you very much, Oliver.